Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you are now listening to Unqualified Qualifications with me. It's the host, comedian V Mac, and today I'm here with Poet Blues. He's a multiple Emmy Award winner, three times? One, two, three times. Multiple books, multiple CDs, multiple places. He's internationally known, locally accepted, and worldwide known. All right, Blues, tell everybody hello and how you doing today.
Hey, what's happening? Sitting here with the homie, Bernie, man. What's going on, brother?
Another day, another dollar. Trying to figure out, we're trying to learn about you and your grind and your purpose from the beginning to the end.
Word. It's a lot. Well, I say it's a lot, but it may not be much to some, but it's a lot for me.
Yeah, you've been through it, so you already know what it's about.
Yeah, man. I started writing when I was in high school. So I got this project from my teacher about taking Shakespeare and reworking it into modern times. And so we're talking about like the 90s when this was happening. So of course I took Romeo and Juliet and morphed it and flipped it like, Romeo's from the west side, Juliet's from the east side, and their parents didn't get along, but and it was this whole sort of like hip hop thing. And then I turned it in and I got a C. And I was like, you gotta be crazy, because this is the heat right here, you know? So, but that was sort of like this introduction into what I knew poetry could be and what writing could be. It didn't have to be this old, stale, white man sort of, it could be much more. It could really reflect who we are. That
heart, their old angel.
Yeah, it didn't have to be any of that. I was like, okay, this thing kind of cool. And then, on top of that, so I had some friends, and I guess we were like 11th grade at the time. I don't know. We'd be like in civics class and we'd be writing these battle raps to each other, and then we like pass the note. So we was like some super nerds with it, but it was like this cipher on paper. We'd be like, yeah, son, I killed you. Yeah. It was really wild, bro. We thought we was doing something, but it was
battle rapping.
Yeah, exactly. So we got into it's sort of this idea of what you could do with words and evoke emotion out of that, bro. So yeah, I do that. And I have this girlfriend I have in my senior year, and then we graduate. We decided we're gonna do this. We're gonna make this thing work, the long distance thing. So
not in the youth.
Ah, man, listen, we got a strong 6 months out of it, and then I went to go see her. She was in the Army at the time. I went to go see her where she was stationed at, and we're in this room. Right, the room is like, two people are in it, and they have this big sort of bunk thing in the middle to make it feel like two rooms. And I'm sitting on her side chilling, and she's getting ready, and her roommate's on the other side. Jerry Springer was on. I'll never forget this. Jerry Springer was on. And she's doing something, getting ready, and she calls me by the other dude's name.
Whoa.
So the room got quiet. Only voice you could hear was Jerry. Like, I'm like, All I hear was the door close. Ka-doom. Roommate gone, right? Roommate left. Like, shit, I ain't got to be a part of this. And then she's like, yeah, we need to go talk. So she took me to Denny's and broke up with me at Denny's. I hate Denny's to this day. She broke me up at Denny's. I drove all the way back to Charlotte from Savannah. And it was the kind of moment where, when you're driving and the radio's on and every song is about your relationship, so you so brokenhearted. Even Uncle Luke came on. I was like, this is about me. I can't believe it. I turned it off, man, and I cried the whole way back to Charlotte. And it was that, man. It was like, I got back. I was hurt. V. I was hurt. And I knew I wanted the hurt to stop, but I did not want to kill myself. Like, I knew I wasn't there. I was like, all right, this hurt. I just started writing, man. I just started writing, and the poetry was super sad. It was sad because I started to share that poetry at open mics. People like, yo, you good. It's sad, though. Some sad work you got, but you good.
That used to be the best stuff.
It's the best stuff, man. And
so you started doing open mics right out of high school?
In college. So I was in college and all this happened. But my first sort of open mic thing was my freshman year at UNCC. Maybe it had to be my freshman year, because that's when.
What made you get up there?
Heartache, bro. Heartache. I was just like, yo, I got to get this out. I've been writing in my room. Bro, if I had a trench coat and like some dark hair, I'd have been emo. I was super emo. I was sad, bro. I was sad. I got up there and I did that, and I got this response from like women. It was like, yo, it was good. Kind of sad. And then I discovered like erotic poetry, and then I started doing these sex poems, and then the girls would respond. I'm like, all right, this is what I'm gonna do forever. Like, this is what I want to do forever. This is what I want. And eventually I grew out of that. I grew up. Jessica Care Moore, this beautiful poet out of Detroit, inspired me so much to sort of do what I'm doing now.
So tell the people what you're doing now.
I am a spoken word artist, man. Emmy Award winning dude. Be here and there, and you've seen me at a Hornets game or on TV screen during a NASCAR joint. So you've heard my voice for a lot of things, man.
So what's the difference between spoken word and regular poetry to you?
For me, spoken word is literally like get up on a microphone and do poems and drop that, you know what I'm saying? Drop heat like that. Where poetry can be that, but it's also more in book form, also more just, in the page. So there's a difference between page and stage, and that spoken word is more that. Spoken word is also, I think, a recollection and retelling of our history too. When we talk about the griots and the storytellers, that's a form of spoken word. So yeah, for me, it feels more raw and more accessible, right? I feel spoken word is more accessible, where poetry can be a little bit academic and stuffy, but if it's good, it's good. But yeah, for me, that's the difference.
All right. So do you write, how can I say, original poetry? Like, do you write poetry like the textbook form? Do you still perform that way, or are you just all spoken word?
Oh, I do a bit of both, man. I got a couple of books out, and of course I do the spoken word thing. It's fun. Like for me, the spoken word part is fun because I can tell you exactly what I'm saying, and you can get the tone and the inflection and everything. Where if I write it down, now you're reading what I wrote, and I don't know how you'll interpret that, right?
Yeah.
So it's a bit more tricky on the poetry side. It's fun on that side because now I want you to see if I can write it enough where you understand what I'm coming from, and I don't have to spoon feed it to you. So yeah, it's fun on that side of it. If you like making things, I don't want to say complicated, but putting a puzzle around words and how you've formatted and is it themed out? Because there's people that are so into books, like they're bookworms. They're looking for that. They could care less if you come up there and do your little poetry, like trailer ins. Trailer ins, but you know what I'm saying. Ain't even the right person for Love Jones, but you know what I'm saying.
Trailer ins. All right.
But yeah, so there's people who are just ready to eat the words up straight off the page, man.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
So who was your first mentor? The lady out of Detroit?
Well, she wasn't necessarily my mentor as much as she was the first person I heard do poetry like that inspired me to change what I was doing. Because at the time, I was finna go down that sex poet role. I was finna be that guy. I was finna be that guy. And then she came in and did like Black Girl Juice and Black Statue of Liberty and just got people inspired and crying and on their feet. And I'm like, oh my, that's what I want to do. I want to make people feel powerful, not feel sexy. I mean, feeling sexy is power, right? But I want you to, if I say something, I want you to be ready to take it to the street. Like we going out here to do whatever we need to do, So it was her doing what she does naturally, what she does as her life, that inspired me to move into what I'm doing. I never really had a poetry mentor. I've had some OGs that I looked up to, but nobody really sort of sat me down and say, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to do. I just had some folks that, when I see them, we chop it up, they give me some free game, and then we keep it moving. But someone I regularly checked in with, I never really had that. I wish I did, though. Like, I think it would have been a little bit more healthy for my mind, with some of the stuff that we.
How would it be more healthy for your mind in comparison to not having one?
I think people, when you're young and ambitious, you are ready to go out there and say and do anything. You know what I'm saying? And at times when you're young, you think you know everything. And if you don't have anybody to bounce an idea off of, you're going to go out there and make mistakes, right? So, I mean, I've done a couple of poems that were just stupid. Like someone should have been like, hey, man, But again, when you're young and ambitious and hungry and getting it, you just go, man. And I think if I had someone older enough to sit me down, not only to sort of guide some of the work, but the business side of it too. Like, I'm not complaining. I have no regrets of where I'm at right now. Like I did that all off grind. Got it, I got it out the mud, as the kids say. But I did that all off the strength of me. But I would have loved to have had someone earlier on guide me a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I have a little bit more clarity on what I could do. Who knows? I could have been.
So how was the transition from erotic to spoken word? Was it easy or was it like?
Oh, super easy. Jessica, like, again, Jessica said some stuff that just the next day after hearing her, I wrote this poem called oh God, She Rose. Such a cliche name. So stupid. But it was it was about this. So the poem was like, this black woman comes home and she says, "I'm tired," and I was like, she's 400 years of tired of da da da. So I go through this history of black women in history who have done amazing things. And that poem, when I did it at another event, I got a standing ovation, right? So I knew that's the route that I wanted to go. So it was immediate, bro. Like there wasn't any like slow burn or anything. Like it was next day, cold turkey. This is what I'm doing. This is who I want to be, and this is what I want my voice to sound like.
So when did you start touring?
I think I started touring maybe, and it was like late, bro, when I started this. So we're talking like 2000, maybe 2006. I started hitting colleges, 2007, 2008 for sure. I got into the college circuit, and that's good money right there, bro. That's it's fun, and then it's not fun, right? So you get to a certain age, you go to a college, and you are rocking poems for pretty much your kid's age, right? So the older you get, you get older, but that college is still going to be like 17, 18, 19 years old, right?
Yeah.
So it's a matter of, are you saying something that's relevant to that 17, 18, or 19-year-old? You know what I'm saying? Because I could come in here and do dad poems all day, and it's somebody's daddy over here doing dad poems. I don't want to hear this mess. You know what I'm saying? So I did that for like 3 or 4 years, and then, you know, it's not it's not the tour life. It's not like Beyonce and Taylor Swift tour life. It is comedy, right?
Yeah.
It is, you're getting in a car with maybe 2 other people, and y'all about to go hit a spot. Hopefully you got a hotel for the night. And I think the only difference would be is that it's a college check, but then you better hope that they have the check there, because sometimes you get there and they'll be like, "We mailed it." You be like, "Come on, bro," because the bank was open the next day and you needed that little bit of money to get gas.
back.
Bruh, so it's
I already know what it is.
It sounds cool, like, yeah, I'm on tour.
5 people in the car,
bro, and one room, right? And then sometimes, if it's far enough, you get to fly, right? So you get to fly. I did a show at St. Mary something or other in Indiana. I had to fly into Indianapolis and drive 3 or 4 hours to this school. So sometimes it's not like, you know, University of Ohio or Michigan State. It is
somewhere in the back room.
Some little back room school that's in the middle of nowhere that the kids don't really get much out there. So here you are, the entertainment, but the money is always the same. So you go.
Yeah, because you know what you're getting.
You know what you're getting. And then, you know, you get to the shows.
They take care of your rider too.
They take care of all that. And you get there. And the thing is, sometimes there'll be like 2 students there, you know, and then you're like, I got to do this 90 minutes. Y'all 2 finna get the best show of your life.
Because you got to get that money.
You got to get that money. So it's the tour life it was great. I always say it's like, it's great if you're sort of younger, because you want to be out there in that energy. The older you get, you're like, listen, I gotta make a decision here, because I'm tired.
Your body don't feel right in that car no more.
Your body be like, 4 hours where?
We're going to West Virginia. Lord
be like, Jesus, here we go. You better get your nap right now.
These bones ain't made for this 2-seater, baby.
Oh, bro, let me tell you.
So explain the business side of spoken word.
Man, there's so many facets to that. For me, the business side looks like being able to do work with the Charlotte Hornets and Raycom Sports, and, you know, do openers for the Duke Carolina game, and doing voiceover work and writing, you know, some incredible pieces that formulate into some really dynamic openings and segmented pieces for the sports team. So my avenue floated more towards sports, which was great, because again, that money is really good, but it's very different. You're giving these sports folks a taste of what art can do with this very physical, sometimes violent activity, right? Yeah. There's beauty in there, and then you can write to that beauty inside of that. So it's a matter of sort of setting yourself up to be, you know, for when I did the NASCAR stuff, I was listed as a producer, right? Because I was able to write, you know, for each of these segments. And so you get that producer credit, you get that writer's credit, you get these different types of, you know, titles that go along with the work that you do. So that's like sort of the entertainment side of it. But if you flip it over to the literary and the book side of it, you have cats like my homie Michael Harriot, who wrote, the Black as Fuck History, I think that's what it's called. And my man Rudy Francisco, these guys who are writers, and they have these books out and they're selling millions of dollars worth of books. So it is being in the publishing side of it. That's a whole nother game, right? There's a whole nother game that you get to play and be in these literary worlds and be in colleges and on people's, lists to teaching, I got folks I know who people are teaching their books. I'm like, I know you though. Nigga, I know you. I know you, but it's pure genius. So it depends on your approach to it. Some people have a really strong literary side that they go to and they can get these book deals, like 6-figure, 7-figure book deals. And then you got cats on the other side who are really dope so this is where we go back to spoken word and poetry, right? So the spoken word side, you get cats who go viral and have these amazing opportunities to work with artists and work with big companies and do all these amazing things. And it's super dope if you can navigate both. It's not easy to do, but if you can do it, it's quite dope.
So tell us about how did the Emmys come along?
So the Emmys came along with one, working with Raycom Sports and the Duke Carolina game that we got to do the opening for, and then 2, we're working with NASCAR. For each of them, it is it's a very sort of niche category. But what happens is with the Summer Olympics coming up, right? The Olympics are coming up in the summer. Someone is going to shoot an event back and forth, like the opening of the Summer Olympics. Someone's going to shoot that, produce that, and then they're going to turn that around and have it ready for air, right? That's sort of what we did, 24-hour turnaround. What we would do is I would get notes. So NASCAR would have a race on Sunday. I would get notes on Monday. We'd shoot by Tuesday. It would air by Wednesday. Like it was boom, 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 boom. So these quick turnarounds with the artwork, and it comes down to editing, how fast you get tape. It's all this machine, but it's fluid. And if you do it right, you can win Emmys that way if you submit for it. So ours was for fastest turnaround, and I think that for all 3 of those, that's how that went. But I didn't even know. I was just out here, I just want to do poems.
I feel you.
Get a check and do poems and be in the cool spots.
So these pieces that you're saying for these turnarounds, are they based on the notes or something that you already had?
Based on the notes. So I'd get notes and I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna write this thing up, try to memorize it, and then we go out and shoot. So, and then we'd have it in the can and ready to go by Wednesday. It was all based off of information they give me. And that's basically how I, operate, especially when we're talking about corporate or these professional teams. They'll give me the notes. They'll give me here's the talking points. Here's what we want to highlight. Here's what we want to focus on. And I take that and make magic with it, So it's fun too, because it becomes another puzzle for me. Okay, how do I break this down and nuance it just enough to make it not corny, but also inspire the people that hired me to do it. At the end of the day, I want to inspire the public, but I want the people who paid me to be like, yo, that is dope, because then they'll here's something else we want you to do. They keep calling you back. And that's really the game that you want. You want to be called back. You want your name in rooms that you aren't in. So when they say, yo, we heard this guy, let's bring him in. Let's work with him.
All right. Well, yeah, that's true. You always want the call back. So how does it feel now being the 3-time Emmy winner?
Man, it's
so
cool.
Before that, I'm sorry. What was the first, how did you feel when you first found out, and how did you find out?
I was about to tell you that story. Let me tell you how I felt, and then I'm going to tell you how my daughters felt. So the first one was the regional Emmys were held in Tennessee at the time, and I couldn't go, but they telecasted it, right? So I was at home on my computer watching it. The moment I flipped my computer open, they were getting to our category, right? So they got to our category. They were naming off all the nominees, and then they said our name, and we had won. I was like, we won. I'm in the house screaming, we won. My daughters come in there and be like, yo, why are you yelling? And what's for dinner? Come on. I'm just telling you. I just told you I won an Emmy. They were like, we could care less. You were too loud and we're hungry. So it was for them, it was just their dad doing, whatever he's yelling about. But for me, it was such a magic moment because I never pictured anything like that ever, right? To be nominated was one thing, but to win, Bro, I was going crazy. I called
could
my
only-
mom. I had it on the thing. It was wild. It was wild. And so for me, it was this big elation. It was this big sort of stamp to say, you're good at what you do, right? You are good. And sometimes we want that. We want that recognition, whether we admit it or not. You know, when we don't get it, we're like, it's cool. I'm just glad to be here. But when we get it, we're like, no, I got it. That's right. I'm that dude.
Well, we stand in front of strangers.
Right.
Of course, we want some kind of accolade.
Exactly. So yeah, for me, I loved it. For my girls, they kept me grounded. They kept it 100.
All
They
right,
were
Dad.
like, all right,
Back
Dad.
to dad duties.
Exactly. Like, relax, bro.
Turn that computer off, sir.
All right, yeah. You got
Pizza, wing, something. Hello.
something. Make it happen,
I gotta go to
Mr.
school
Emmy
tomorrow.
Award winner.
Yeah. Don't forget your duty, sir.
Right.
So
Exactly.
you traveled across this whole world, right?
I've been to a few places, yeah.
And you met a lot of different people. So out of all the people you've met, who has been the most grounding to you, like brought reality to you? Like, I can't believe I'm actually meeting this person off of the words I wrote.
Oh my God. Bro, that's heavy. That's a tough one because I've met some pretty dope people, man. And some of these people aren't like famous. They're just dope people. Phil Freelon, who designed the African American Museum of History. I met him. And he also designed the Harvey B. Gantt Center. Mr. Harvey Gantt himself. Pretty amazing men who are history and transformative and have made literal markers on this planet. Like, it is a physical thing that you can go and see and be a part of. I would say I met Jadakiss once at the radio station, and I did this poem, and he said it was dope. I was like,
There it is.
there it is. That's the win. That is the win. But man, I don't know. There's so many people that are popping in my brain right now. But I would think meeting Phil Freelon might have been like one of the top tier moments, because I didn't know what he had done. I just knew that he designed the Gantt, but I didn't know and this was when he was in the process of creating the museum in DC. So I didn't know that he was on the cusp of that kind of greatness. So that was amazing to see. Anthony Hamilton, like, that was really cool.
Yeah.
And he was like, yo, take my number down, let's collab. I'm like, you're Anthony Hamilton, bro. What are you talking about? You need to take your number down. You are acting like you're not as famous as you are. So, but I think it's those moments where I try to keep my cool. Like, I think one of the most, and this is like before I'm like a poet, I was interning for Def Jam. That's when Def Jam was a big thing, boys and girls. And I was at UNCC, and I remember my first Def Jam packet was getting DMX's record. I'm like, get at me, dog. What is this?
Yeah.
We're talking at a time when I drove a little Hyundai Scoop, and it had 212s in the back. I put in the tape cassette.
Street team.
Bro, and that, dude, I was like, what the?
I'm right here, dog.
Bro, that was crazy. So I was like, I'm going to do this as long as I can. 1 year, I think it was my second year that I was working with their street team, Run DMC had come to the amphitheater right there in UNCC.
Yeah.
So they were like, yo, you're gonna ride with such and such, and they're gonna come pick you up, and you're gonna ride into the stadium with, into the thing with the concert venue with they didn't say it was Run DMC. They just said it was the
talent.
They said talent and the guy, their contact. So I'm like, cool. We drove out to PNC. I guess it's PNC now, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Parked, and then we went to the special VIP area, and a limo pulls up. They're like, yo, jump in. We're just going to drive in. So we had parked, walked over to the thing, jumped in, and it's Run DMC. Everybody, and Jam Master Jay, RIP. And me and my girlfriend at the time are just, we're sitting there because we're thinking it's just going to be somebody in the contact, not the legendary group Run DMC. So I am stuck on stupid. but I'm trying to play it cool.
Trying to play cool.
Bro,
but
I'm
you
like,
probably looked at uncool as
I
over.
had to look, because I'm tight. I'm like, okay, bro, just don't say anything stupid. You are in here with the kings of rock. There is none higher.
Sucker MCs, call me sire.
I was like, yo, I think that was my first sort of superstar moment to meet someone and be that close. And they were all like just so cool and casual. They're like, yo, what's going on, man? I'm like, yeah. I said, yeah. I said, yeah, bro.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying myself. Thank you.
So, I think when we talk about the artistry and people that I met that sort of had this grounding to me, I think that's part of it. And some other folks that I've met, but man, that's such a core memory for me. Such a core memory. That was crazy.
So how does the progression from, you're still an artist, but the progression to actually becoming a mentor and showing people the way now, how is that treating you? How does that feel inside?
That's a great question, man. And that's been a journey I didn't know I had entered until I was sort of, helping people out. And I was like, but this is just what I do. It's just regular. It's like, someone asked me a question, I tell them the answer. I don't be like, I was called a gatekeeper once. I'm like, I don't ever gatekeep. I got offended. I was like, I don't ever gatekeep. As much free games, I was hot, right? But I got what they were saying. They thought I was not allowing opportunities. I'm like, once I show you the door, sometimes I don't control the door.
Yeah.
I can tell you where it is. I can tell you how I opened it. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know if it'll work for you. But I can tell you exactly where it is. And if that door doesn't work, let's go try 6 other doors because that's what we do. And that's when I found myself in this position where I was helping other people. I was ushering them into opportunities. Even with the Hornets just this past year, shout out to my girl, Too Cool Tiff. The Hornets came to me and asked me, did I want, who did I know? I'm like, oh, this will be perfect for this, women in sports power for me. You know what I'm saying? It's opportunities that are presented to me that I get to say no to. Then that's a blessing that I get to say no because I know there's something else out there for me. But my no is somebody else's yes.
Yeah.
And if I can do that, then man, I feel wonderful. And OGs, listen to me when I say this. Always have some group of young people that you want to help out and bring up, because eventually what you hope, what you pray for is that they become so successful that they don't forget who you are and reach back and pull you up too, because you're never done growing. And so it's a little selfish in that manner, but it's also, I definitely want to make sure that what I'm doing inspires the next person and we're growing what we are. Because you and I know we've been out there feral, doing it on our own with no one's help. You know what I'm saying? And that sucks sometimes, right? Because you got to make your mistakes and you don't know if you're about to make one, and it's scary. Because you're like, I don't know if this is right. I don't know if this is wrong. I just got to do it. I got to do it scared. And if it's successful, you're like, whew, I did it. And you learn from that. But when it's bad, you don't know if that's like career ending or,
or you got people around you who just say it's good when it's bad.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, man, the mentorship part of it has been really a real blessing for me, because I'm getting to watch so many of these young artists come up and grow and do the thing right and become successful at it. And that's exciting, too.
Yeah,
that's super exciting.
Watching your kids grow.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So, what's new for you? What's going on with you now?
What's new for me? I'm working on an album, spoken word, trying to get the spoken word Grammy. Working on an album called Wooden Nickels for a Melancholy Jukebox. And it's got a book with it and some visuals. So it's a whole project. And also doing some platform building for the theater world, the dance world, just, kind of continuing what I've been doing, is grinding and making sure people have creative opportunities in this city that often overlooks them, so being an advocate in that sense and fighting for, folks who deserve a chance, especially this town, man. It's got so many talented people that get overlooked or they move away because there isn't enough shine and opportunity. They go to Atlanta or back to New York or fly out to LA. And I hate that. Like, I hate it because it's hard. Like, Charlotte's hard, but they don't know how hard it can be in one of those bigger cities. You become a smaller fish if you're not already established. But also, you got to take your chances. And I would love for folks to just stay and build themselves and be the resource, and let Charlotte always be the home base and the lab, and everywhere else just be the place you perform. So, yeah, man.
That's true. So what is the problem with the scene? How can the scene here in Charlotte change?
Um, that's a great question, man. The scene could be, let me say this. Like the scene is better. It's better. Like it's a lot better than it was 15 years ago, right? Where there wasn't much there weren't many platforms or venues to sort of go to if you were a hip hop artist, right? Or an R&B artist. Like it's grown so much that there are so many opportunities for folks who are finding spaces to put these things in. And support has always been the thing that I was touted about. Like, y'all just show up for each other. That's it. Like, if you show up in enough numbers, then it'll grow. Don't worry about, and Charlotte's always had this problem, especially in the hip hop world, is I'm gonna be the one to put Charlotte on. I'm like, man, stop that. Charlotte don't need to be on. You need to be on for you, right? If you be on for you, you just tell them where you're from. You know, the fans and everybody will pick that up. So it was always this race to be the first one instead of working collaboratively to make everybody shine at the same time. Atlanta did it. Atlanta did it when Jermaine Dupri brought everybody, all these sounds together during like with Freaknik. And when we went to Freaknik, you heard like 10 different artists. You're like, oh, this is a whole scene. It ain't just one person. Yeah. It's like 19 different people. And I think we have, I want to say have that opportunity with as many artists as we have here who are so dope and dynamic in their own right. And then we talk about poetry. For us, it's never been too much of a problem. And this is going to sound egotistical as hell, but we're national champions. We're cats who have been on television. We are poet laureates. Like our scene has been good for like 20 years, but that's because we put in work before all of that, right? So before those 20 years of dopeness, there was these lean years of trying to figure it out, of let us come in and do poetry here. Like we had to fight. We were the civil rights movement
of Charlotte.
We were the civil rights movement of poetry in Charlotte. I know some cats gonna be like, man, that's fucked up. But it was. It is true. Like every scene has had to have this grind out moment of cats who were pioneers, who did it the hard way, who got rejected, who had to fight through racism, fight through racist venues that didn't. It kills me. Fight through racist venues that didn't want you. If we talk about that, we talk about the epicenter during CIAA, right? When they were really good at playing all the hip hop music, but very bad at letting the people who created the hip hop music into their club, right? It was wild business. And then, I mean, that can trickle down to DJs, because I know white DJs who were allowed to spin the hip hop music. But if you're a black DJ and you started spinning hip hop, they're like, yo, you can't play that. Play something different. It was, yo.
That's crazy.
That was a crazy time.
During CIAA?
It was,
just in general, during
CIAA, come on in. Come on, do what you want. Soon as CIAA left, all right, that's enough. You guys got to pack it up. Get out of here. Don't ever. Like, it was that. And we kept telling people, stop going to the epicenter during CIAA. Stop it, stop it, stop it. But, you know, black folk want to do what black folk want to do.
They want to go to the celebrity party.
Man, listen, that's what it is.
So how is the racial scene in the poetry world?
You know what? It is cool. Like, we're not as diverse as I'd like to see it. There aren't as many white poets in sort of the scene that we're in. There are like maybe one or two or three. But I think that's a level of comfortability. Like, because they do the spoken word part of it, right? And they're good at it, and they can also do sort of the poetry part of it. And I think it's a sort of an age thing too, because I feel like the older white folks are in their poetry cafe kind of thing, and that's fine. You know what I'm saying? That's what they do. Because I've been to a few of those things, and they are quite boring, right? Exactly. It's very flowery language, and it works for them. Like, they couldn't do that where we're at, right?
Yeah.
And obviously we could go there and do what we do, but then they'd be like, Well, sometimes they're blown away. They're like, I can't believe you wrote. Did you? We always get the question, did you write that? Did you write that? You'd be like, did I write? Like, yeah, I wrote this. Like, what are you talking about? Did I write it? Where are you supposed to get that from? My fault if I ain't supposed to say the N-word.
You can say whatever it is.
Okay. So it's just a wild thing, but there are two different worlds, and I don't think they're intentionally separated. It's just where people feel comfortable at.
There's segregation.
But there's also a lot of invites that happen. So I've seen some spoken word artists come over to sort of this literary side because they're like, yo, come over here and do workshops. Like, that's the biggest thing too. Like, these workshops that happen are very integrated in that sense, because you have some very academic people who will come inside the spoken word world and do it, and then vice versa, who have this performative aspect. So in that sense, it's very sort of meshed in. But, I think the segregation happens from level of comfortability and age. Like there's just some older folks that just enjoy the way they have their poetry, and that's cool. And then there's the younger folks who need energy. You know what I'm saying? So you go to where you're comfortable.
Okay. And I heard from previous people who've been on the show and stuff, they're talking about they used to use poetry or poets as just like basic entertainment. It was like, we're not going to pay you. You just come up here and do it. How did y'all get, or you per se, get up out of that?
JC. You need to have JC on the show.
Yeah,
JC is the dude.
The wind up.
It is, from the wind up. So it is this specific night that I cannot remember the folks who were promoting it, but it used to be called Club 2000 or something like that. So it sits at this sort of 5 Points area. It's all gentrified now, and I can't even remember what's over there. Reflection Studios used to be over there. But anyway, they were doing these poetry nights or R&B nights, something nights, right? And the poets would have to pay to get in, and then they'd ask us to perform. And then us just wanting to be in something and be a part of the crowd, we're like, yeah, we'll do it. And JC was like, that don't make no sense. JC was like, listen, on the next time, nobody go. Like, we would go to the club, and Jay would be like, don't come in here. And he let them people see him tell us, don't come in here. And we didn't come in. And that night they had zero entertainment. Zero entertainment. And they were like, okay, y'all can come in for free and rock out. And I was like, that's all we ask. If you're going to use us, let us at least come in for free. So it becomes this thing where we're saying, if you have money to pay a DJ, if you have money to pay the band, and you want poetry to be the highlight, you better pay the poet first.
Yeah.
And that's been sort of the mantra ever since. Everywhere I go, I've gone to Miami and people know me, and I've gone, if I had to pay to get in, and they were like, you're getting on the mic? I'm like, no, I paid admission to get in here. I plan to be entertained.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm a patron.
I've done your 2-drink minimum as well. So, some people got mad at me. They were like, yo, why you being like that? Why you not getting on the mic? Bro, I'm not paying to play.
Yes.
I am who I am. And if that sounds like a flex, then it is. Like, I've done the work. I'm not a newbie. I don't need the exposure. If I've paid to get in here, then I'm not going to get up on that stage and perform. Unless you plan on refunding my money back and tripling it.
Yeah.
Then I'll get up there and do whatever you want. We'll have a great time tonight. But until then, nah. So I encourage anybody, if it's specifically one of these shows where you pay to play and you know that going in and that's what you're comfortable with, hey man, do you. But if you know that you have been booked and they have not paid you or don't plan on paying you, act a fool. Act a fool for your art. Act a fool for your craft. Act a fool for it all. Because they're trying to play with you, right? They're willing to spend. If they're charging, if you know that, and this is crazy, if you're charging like sometimes 35, sometimes 40 in some places, and they're still not paying the poet. Sometimes, and then when they pay the poet, it might be like $50. You'd be like, you mean to tell me that one person
and a half?
Oh, you got it. Yeah, your mind.
But the DJ ain't get cut short,
but at all. At all.
Yeah.
I'll be like, yo, it's either y'all pay me my money or I'm taking it out of the DJ's hands. And then now the DJ's got a problem. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, somebody in here is gonna have a problem until I'm paid fairly, right? So yeah, man, that was a big issue for us until it was resolved in that night. And then ever since then, poetry has grown and these many facets. You have some amazing platforms on IG that still don't pay poets for the usage of their time. It's wild to me to see that. But yeah, people often look at poetry as the last person to be taken care of, even though we might be the hottest thing the entire night. So it's wild, but not me. I will act a fool. Yeah. I will act in complete
As a
fool.
comedian, and sometimes it's hard to follow a poet. Boy, I tell you, they've just been crying, laughing, got horny, and then here you come up here trying to make somebody laugh.
Right. You'd be like,
boy, he took all my energy.
Listen, I've seen comedians who, I think there's one or two who did it well. They're like, they came up with a poem, and it was funny. Like, yeah, it was. One guy's like, roses are red, violets are blue. I ain't sexy like blues. But so he said something. It was hilarious. I'm like, all right, that's a smart move.
So how is the concept of making a album? How does that work for you?
Man, it's much like a hip hop album. And I used to rap back in the day.
What was your stage name?
Blues. It was still blues.
Oh.
I rapped with a guy whose name was Rhythm, so we were Rhythm and Blues.
Okay.
Man, we were dope, bro. We were so dope. But yeah, it is sort of the same concept. For there's two ways to sort of approach it. And my first album was pure just me talking. Like, it was just me saying words into a microphone, and that was cool. It was all right. But then I had this theme idea for the book that it was just based off sort of these artists who died young, sad songs, sad moments in music history, and that's why it's called Wooden Nickels from Melancholy Jukebox. And then so I'm working with one of the homies who is amazing. I don't want to name drop yet, but he's worked with some big cats, and he was like, "Yo, I want to do this because we want to try to get this Grammy," and he knows how to sort of make it work. So we're gonna put music around it, theme it out, have some skits in it, and it's gonna work just like a regular album with music, except it's spoken word. So yeah,
Dope.
yeah, and it's exciting, man. It's exciting to approach the concept like that, because you get to break down the barriers of what poetry and spoken word look like in this form. So I'm excited to see what we do.
So looking back at your life, how does it feel to be Black History?
Ooh, I still don't believe that some of the things that have happened. It's Black History. That's a lot, man. It's crazy. I don't know, man. I just feel like I'm a regular dude. Like everybody else out here, I could die from police violence. My daughters could, be kidnapped, and I'm a burn the city down. Like, I will do some regular nigga shit. I don't care how much Black history I am. Like, touch my loved ones, and it all comes undone.
Yeah.
So it feels great to know that maybe I've done some things that people are proud of, and I want to continue to do those things. But I also don't want them to forget that I'm human, and I will do some human stuff. And I hope you forgive me for whatever dumb human stuff that I do, but I will always inspire. I will always try to inspire and make folk proud of me, like, because I understand there's a level of responsibility in being Black in America, and that's for everybody, right? That's for everybody. There's this level of responsibility of being Black in America that we want to achieve. We want to make folk proud of us, and we want to survive everything that they throw at us, so we can show you that you can't stop me or break me.
Dope.
Yeah.
So the name of the show is called Unqualified Qualifications, right?
Right.
So when has there been a time in your life that you felt qualified, but the rest of the world made you feel like you was unqualified?
Ooh, bruh, so many times. I think the first time I was at a Hornets game and I did an opener, and I felt like, how did I get here? Like, the imposter syndrome was heavy. And I'm standing on a court with millionaires, professional athletes, top tier people at what they do. Why are you out here, bro? Like, why are you here? And I had to get out of my head fast because I was going to start speaking. And it was this moment that said, listen, if you weren't supposed to be here, then you wouldn't be here. You'd be anywhere else. There's a million, zillion, billion places you could be. But you're right here, right now. So you can shut the fuck up, be in your moment, and go. Because if you don't do this right, you won't be back. And then you'll be like, I know why you're not here. Then you can be like, there's an answer why you're not here. Because you got in your own head, you got in your own way. I think it's that moment to be in such a spotlight around such talent and such rarity, because there's a lot of people who will never get that moment. And I had to think about that. Like, people won't ever get this moment. So I have to make it count for the dreamers. I have to make it count for folks who didn't survive that day. I have to make it count for all of that. You know what I'm saying? Because if I squander it, then I've just squandered everything, because I doubted myself. And doubting myself is something I don't normally do. And that, it was all thing, man. But yeah, I think that moment was probably one of the most where I said, how did we get here, bro? How did we get here? Because there's been some pretty cool moments where I've been on television. That was cool. That was fun. I didn't feel it then, but I think it was seeing all of these athletes who, despite the odds, made it to where they made it, and now you're standing next to some. Like LeBron James has seen me and heard my voice, right? It's that kind of thing. Like Michael Jordan has seen me.
Yeah,
and heard my voice. Like they know, if they never knew me again, that was something that happened in their life.
They can't unhear it.
They can't unhear it. So it's those kinds of things that make you be like, leash, like what else is next, right? What else is next? I don't know.
You don't know what's next?
I've never really known. Like I've had an idea, but things just pop up, man. The NASCAR thing popped up. The NBA thing popped up.
That's crazy. You did NASCAR knowing their history.
Right. And that was a wild ride, bro. It was a wild ride. But if folks don't know the inside of what NASCAR, and this was like 20 years ago, this is years ago I was doing this. They have been trying to really diversify who they are since back then. It's been a fight. It's been a fight for the folks who are on the inside, because there's a lot of people of color working in there in the television world, like a lot. And they were making efforts and strides, and I still think that's happening today. It's just taking a long time, but they're getting there. But that was a fun experience, man, because there's a lot about this sport that people don't know, because the facade tells you that it's redneck and it's racist, and they're not wrong. They're not wrong, but there's also an international field. There's also people of color who work behind the scenes who are making good money. There's people who are in the pit crews. There's people who are doing a lot of things who are black. But they understand that it's a growing sport, still continuing to grow. It's a lucrative sport, and the barriers are being broken down slowly but surely. And part of that is, I don't know how messed up this is to say, the folks who are the racist redneck folks, some of them are dying off. Like they're just not here anymore. So
that makes the world a little bit.
It makes the world a little bit better. And I hate to say that.
Me
right?
too. That's why I ain't finished it.
Right. But it does, because there's no room for hate. You know what I'm saying? There's no room for hate. And it's a matter of us saying, I belong in certain spaces. And that was one space that I never said, what am I doing here? I was like, oh, I know exactly why I'm here. I'm here to disrupt. I'm here because I like racing. I'm here because I got talent. And of all these things, all three of these things have intersected and allowed me the opportunity to be up in y'all's motherfucking face.
Yes.
On the screen. Here I am, black as hell, locks, and just me. And y'all got to deal with that. And they dealt with it for like 2 or 3 years. Here I am. In your face.
Now you one of the homies. Now
one of the homies.
Come on, grab a wheel.
Yeah. I'm with y'all. Let's go.
All right. So if you don't mind, would you like to give us a piece before we leave?
Yeah. I could definitely do that. Let's see. The joint is called Unqualified Qualifications. And I often wonder how qualified I've been for this life, this black life. I mean, I had to be qualified for a long time, V. Like, I've been up and down, through and through. I've survived 50 years. Nope, not quite. Just 48. I ain't 50 yet. Not like hip-hop is. Hip-hop be 50 years long, 50 years strong. It tells us that we can survive off a song, off a beat, off a scratch, off a Krylon can, off a backspin, off a backspin, off a backspin on cardboard. We be unqualified in so many ways, but qualified in the eyes of God, qualified in the eyes of our Creator, and where we feel weakest in moments, where we feel like our purpose is slowly drowning, slowly dying, we find the light inside of us that finds us unqualified with qualifications that say, listen, you are passion and purpose. You might have moved from Buffalo to get away from that noise, but now you make a noise in the Queen City, a king with hat on head, headphones ready, voice speaking prophecy into people who are creatives like me and reminding us that we are qualified for what we do. You are inspiration. You are beacon in this place. You are Big Bang Theory for all of us. So I thank you for being an unqualified qualification of a black man in this city when we need to be reminded of who we are. We are purpose. We are always qualified.
Yeah, off the top of the dome. This is gonna be on heavy replay. This is the intro. This is everything I needed. Good God, yes. All right, give me your stuff. We out of here. I'm happy to tell me where they find Blues on the Instagram.
Yeah, BLUZ on Instagram, on TikTok, on all the things, baby. Let's go.
Let's get it. Goddamn it. I'm out. This is unqualified qualifications. Thank you. This is the shit. Bye. Talk to my soul.
Bash on the beat.
Line up, line up, line up.